What is your name and where are you from?
Hey, my name is Michael Solomon. I'm from Cornwall, New York, and I live in Boston now.
All right. How did you originally hear about my website?
I originally found out about Shawn on YouTube back in 2009, I believe.
Wow, that's that's a wow. You were just a kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no,
What did?
yeah, 2009. It was God.
Yes. How old were you then?
Well, I'm 39, so that, yeah, I was like, I don't know, 20, was like 26? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
What do you like most about learning from my method?
The songs that I love most are usually the live versions of songs, and you can't find them anywhere else um, as recorded, but with all of these solos and all the details and all the flourishes exactly as you hear them, as you know them, as you love them. Shawn guides you through them, and it's an amazing experience.
So the method where I use where I have the letters on the whiteboard, is that a hurdle to you or is that a help to you? Do you like that? Is it something you had to get used to?
The whiteboard is a huge help. I think it really boils down the song to a much more simplified way to learn it and to remember it. Visually, it makes a lot of sense to block it off because there's a lot of repetition and going back and forth to different points in the song. It's like a go-to statement or like a loop in programming. So it's really a nice compression of the song's mechanics into a visual system.
Well, I'm going to use it. I like how you said that. I've never been able to say that just how you just did it. Yeah. So, what would you say to someone? Because sometimes I'll have people go, "Wow, that's neat." To people that do my lessons and they gig and they go over and they say, "Hey, I want to learn. I want to learn that version. How did you learn that?" And then they show them, my sheets, and they look at it and they go, "What the heck is that?" Except they don't say "heck." And what would you say to someone who first looks at my method and goes, "I'll never be able to do that"? What would you say to them? Because sometimes
I
I get that where they first look at it and their first impression is, "Oh, I don't. That looks weird. I'm never going to get that."
it's it's all the information that you need is in those notes, and you have to read them from bottom to the top. That's how
Right.
your original video worked, which was the only thing that confused me at first.
Yeah.
And but the later videos, they switched direction, and they're
Yes.
sort of,
Do you know why I wrote from bottom to top back on the whiteboard?
because because you had one whiteboard and you were, oh no, I'm trying to guess, no, why?
All right. I'm an upside down lefty. And
Oh,
if I wrote from top to bottom, I would erase everything as I came down the board.
oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. So that I had to go bottom to top so I wouldn't erase everything.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, so that's the reason why. So finally, when I went to a digital, I was free to, go top to bottom.
That's
So
great.
weird.
And you
Yeah.
write on the iPad, is that right?
Yes, sir. I have a GoodNote 6 program, and now I have the staff kind of lightly behind. So people that have read music go, oh, okay, that's what it is. So, it's really not that far removed from the staff because it's still the notes, where they would go on the staff. So it's still, similar to that. Um, so what makes my method different from other online piano lessons?
I think you take your time to go through the entire song note by note, and that is very refreshing because a lot of lessons sort of skip over. They don't explain the entire song sequentially, and it really helped to see the song in one or two or three boards as opposed to 7 pages of dense sheet music. I really like that. Just visually and how you explain it really helps when you explain the motivation behind or the rhythmic patterns in each section separately as a voiceover. So you can really learn the most that you can live. It's not just the song, but it's also like mini piano lessons all the way through.
Great. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with my lessons?
definitely, definitely an 11. I mean,
All right, my first
that's what I
11.
pay. I buy requests, personal requests, and I go back through
You
all
do.
the old videos.
Hey,
It's
you're
just
paying the bills around here, Michael.
well, I'm happy too. I mean, it's such a wonderful talent that you're able to not waste your time with other, ridiculous jobs. You're not writing code that a robot's gonna automate in a few years,
Yeah.
like I am. But you're really utilizing your passion all day long and your skill, and it's something that's it's really impressive. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Would you recommend a family member or a friend to my lessons? And if so, why?
Oh, definitely. Because it's not only an advanced lesson, but it's the easiest. I want to say it's the easiest piano lesson that I've ever had. That's a good thing. And I think that might have been your original title, Easy Piano Lessons. Was
It
it?
was. Yeah, I used that for a while.
Really? Okay, because that's what I remember. It
It's
was
my
your
email address too.
I, yeah, that explains it. Well, no, I mean, to get started at any level, you have videos for every level. So, and you have the intro to piano for beginners, right? With like a series of 50 lessons that anyone can just take up. I never watched that series, but it looked super great for a
Well, I'm
beginner.
glad you knew it was there, because I do feel like, although I get a lot of really intelligent people that can already play, that can just jump right in. I do have some beginners, and I'm glad that you noticed that they were there. I always wonder that if people even know that they're there. Um, yeah, well, you know what? If honestly, anytime you want to, write something, maybe you write some chords down, anything you have, I'll help you get going with a song with it. I've done that before. It's so fun to write songs. I mean, it's a blast, that I really feel like you could do that, and I'm happy to help. Just, let me know. We'll jump on. I didn't know it was this easy to do Zoom. So
Well, thank you so much, Shawn. I'll try to crack that next. That's my next frontier of discovery, and maybe you could do a whole new series of lessons on that then other people, right? If we give you this, I don't know, maybe people can watch along the process,
yes,
or I don't know what it would be, but it would be the same thing where you give me a lesson and then you share it
yeah.
out.
I
And
would love to do that. Yeah,
the
you're
other
not afraid of you're not afraid of the camera. A lot of people are so afraid of the camera. And
they
I'd love
are.
to, if you had some chords you put together, just a little melody, even if you just played the melody. I mean, I could take that little bit and help you really flesh it out, man, and have a song that's all your own.
Yeah, man. I have a few starts and I don't know where to go with them. And that's where
I knew
you're
you did.
just
I knew you
just
did.
would just bulldoze through those sections and tell me what the perfect.
All right. Well, if you get the guts, send me those little starts in a little
Yeah.
video or just an audio bite or something, and
Do
I'll give you a little
you have
something.
Logic? I can send you the recording files.
Do I have what?
Logic
Logic?
on Mac.
No, I don't. Are you able to send?
I
Can
could,
you
yeah,
send a
yeah, I
file?
could send anything. I could send, what file format do you
Just
need?
send, if you can send me an audio of it somehow
Oh,
in
perfect.
an
Perfect.
email, and then I can, and I'll give you my phone number here in the email after this, and then you can just text it to me, or if it's not too big,
Do you
and I
want
can
to say
listen
hi
to
to
it.
my rabbit?
What now?
Do you want to say hi to my rabbit?
Oh, your rabbit. Yeah, let's do it. A pet rabbit.
This is
Oh
Velvet.
wow, my son. Oh my goodness. My son is plays guitar. He's behind the camera here. He does all the tech, but he loves rabbits. Oh my gosh. What's his name?
This is Velvet.
Velvet.
Hi,
It looks so
Velvet.
soft. Wow.
Awesome.
Incredible. Love that. We have a lot of rabbits out here, but they're wild brown rabbits or gray
Oh,
rabbits.
hares? Yeah. Well, rabbits.
I'm out in the country on a farm. Yeah, they're
What?
everywhere right now.
You have
Huh?
animals?
Oh yeah, I have cows. I used to have sheep. I have chickens. Um,
That's
yeah,
so cool.
dogs. You name. I had ducks. You name it.
That's my life goal, to have like a cow and goats. Oh my God, that's cute.
If you ever want to release some stress, just go outside, sit on a chair, and watch a cow for a little bit. I'm serious. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll just forget about everything else, and you know, relieve
We should
stress.
record some outside with the animals. Some animal therapy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go here, but if you'll send me, I'll give you my phone number. You send me that little sound bite. I'd love to listen to that and then send something back to you and see if we can make something out of it. get a song written, something.
I would love that
All right,
before I'm
Michael. It's
40. Thanks,
great to
man.
meet you. Thanks for doing this. All right, we'll
And
talk to you later.
see ya. Love to help out. I've been a fan for so long. Uh,
How long?
and yeah, I can talk about whatever you want.
Awesome. Well, I sure appreciate it. And you've had some great requests and some neat ones. I love getting things that I'm thinking, oh, no one else would ever ask for this because then I always think, oh, nobody's gonna want this except the person who hired me. And then I'm like, oh, all these other people are like, yes, that Matt Bellamy thing, they're going nuts over that. So that's really cool. You wanted that. Um, so that, yeah, that's neat. So how long have you been following me?
Since grad school. So I did my PhD out in Wyoming,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was in grad school I found you because I remember this song. It was the Black Keys. Uh, She Talks to Angels. It was
Oh,
like the
yeah.
live version,
Black Crows. Yeah.
and I was trying to figure it out. So
Uh-huh.
I had transcribe. I slowed it down. I was trying to hear. I couldn't get past the first chord, and
Yeah.
and there was no transcription of it. So I looked online, and you were there on YouTube, and I said, "Holy cow, this guy has perfect pitch, and he has like perfect musical understanding. It's so immensely um immensely talented. It takes so much talent to be able to do that in your head, to go from the live recording to the perfect transcription.
Yes.
And so that was my first encounter with your videos on you back when they were in like 360 or
That's right.
280p.
That's right, man. I started with like 2007. I had the VHS recorder, and the little tape and a little bitty dinky laptop to have to, try to convert videos and or compress them because YouTube would only, if it's over 100 megs, you couldn't upload it, or if it's over 3 minutes for me. But I'm impressed with you did some transcribing yourself and you sent me something and it's pretty dang accurate. I didn't get really into the nuts and bolts of it, but just looking at it, just looking over it, I mean you're spot on. So
Well, that
yeah,
was back in college. I think I was using Finale, and I had this thing called transcribe,
yeah,
and it would slow it down without changing the pitch. And so that's how I cheated to do that. And I also used
uh
something called LilyPond,
okay,
which could it was a software that you could write it as code because I'm a software guy.
okay,
You write it as code, and then it understands the rules of composition, and so it'll lay it out. It'll balance the notes
okay.
in each measure, and it'll do it for you. And so I relied on that a bit as well. But yeah, J.R. Richards, that's amazing. Amazing stuff from Dishwalla, Counting Blue Cars, right? All that stuff.
Yeah,
He had like that perfect male voice, the pop, all pop voice. That was great
yeah. He's
in the
got a great
90s.
voice. I'd never heard that song till you said that was your favorite song, but I like it. Key of B, yeah. Not many songs in the key of B. Um, yeah. So what was your at the end of this? Right now, I'm just having fun, getting to know you and everything. But at the end of this, I'm going to just ask you questions that are supposed to be great for the commercial part of my business. So if it sounds like I'm asking you questions we've already talked about, if you wouldn't mind just answering it again at the end. But I don't want to. My favorite part is this part where we're just talking and getting to know each other. But I'll do that at the end if you don't mind, and just answer those however you want to. Um, so growing up, what was your first exposure to music? Did you take traditional piano lessons? Did you play guitar? How did you get into music?
Yeah, my parents gave me piano lessons every week, and I wouldn't practice, and I hated it. And it was all just reading classical music.
Yeah, right.
And I realized that it gave me the skills and the muscle memory, but then I hated it, so I gave it up eventually. But those 10 years of muscle memory, those
Yeah,
competitions and classical crap, that stayed with me. And then when I discovered that I could play what I wanted to in
yeah.
college, that's the typical story of people who fall back to that, right?
So what did you
And
listen to growing up? So I went that way too. I know the classical route, and so I know exactly what you had to go through there. But what were you listening to? What did you like? What did you prefer to listen to when you turned the radio?
yeah, August and Everything After, right? I'm
Uh-huh.
a Crows fan. That was
Oh
the
yeah.
probably my favorite album.
Uh-huh.
But everything from Sarah McLachlan to, it's all that sort of soft. Your parents had a record collection. You listen to
Sure.
Van Morrison and
Oh
all
yeah.
the classics.
Yeah. So you love
um,
that.
and
Yeah. And if you're like everyone else, you hated the classical stuff, but it helped you. I mean, you're glad you did it. Maybe you don't want to do it again, but it actually ended up helping you in the long run. But because
it did,
I
but
did the, go ahead.
I think it would have been, I would have stayed with it my whole life if they had just been equitable with the percent of the practice of sight reading. Shouldn't be 100%. It should be 20%. You
Yeah.
should have 40% should be composition. You should be generating the music. You're playing by ear,
Yeah.
improvising, all the stuff that activates the coming from the heart out to your fingers, not just from your from your eyes to your fingers, which is
Yeah.
one pathway, but one of not the best really for me. So it wasn't a balanced education. And so then when I got back into it, I was lucky to connect with people and do a cover band, and that's so much
Yeah.
fun, playing live 90s music. We're in 1995. So
Yeah.
that was the name of the band. And we just, Goo Goo Dolls, Red Hot Chili Peppers, all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yes.
But
Yes. Awesome. So
and
were you a good music reader? I mean, were you a good sight reader? Were you pretty good?
no, no, I could, but it was just a very slow, sort of painful
Yeah.
process. So, and I can do it, it's fine. But uh, for performing and for myself, you either memorize it or you don't have time. No, in a rock band, you don't have the sheets, right? You
Yeah.
either compress it into
Yeah.
like main stage, like a little, like a formula, not just the chords, but other little tricks, and you use your
Uh,
own note. People get their own notation, but that's exactly what you were doing for me, which was
yeah.
compressing the essence of the song into something that's really quickly easy. It just gives you the skeleton, and you can fast digest it and then use it. And
Yeah.
that's why I
I'll
really
tell you the
liked
pattern
drop.
I'm seeing here. The people who use my lessons are usually like yourself, entrepreneurial, highly intelligent, think outside the box people, just so smart. And you all usually are terrible at reading music, but it's not because you're not smart. It's because your ear was so good that you relied on that. And so that eventually you hit a brick wall when you can't, like, some of the best sight readers are not musical at all because it takes no musical talent at all to be a sight reader. You know, that has nothing to do with being musical. But your ear is so good that you, like you said, memorize. So you're memorizing everything as you go along, and that's the way you train your brain to learn, is the memorization. So the sight reading suffers because you're not using that reading, you're using your ear so much. Whereas someone else who is not as talented, they're having to sight read because that's the only way they could do it. So they get better at that skill, while the people that are really musical get worse at it. And then you get to a point where I hate this, I'm going to go off on my own, and then you're the guys who can look at a chord sheet and then play along with it, whereas someone who could read music really well might have trouble with it because they don't have the beginning musical talent that you have already. But I just see that over and over again with as I'm doing these interviews.
That
So
exactly explains my situation.
yeah,
And I came to it through guitar too. It's like in high school, I was like, oh, I'll just pick this up and learn how to do, all the solos and the cool stuff. And that was its own world. But there you have the philosophy of just give me the four chords, just give me the
yeah,
tabs, and then you can fill in everything else. Once you know like the scales and all the available locations, right? Then you
yeah,
can really improvise. And then I try to transfer that onto the piano. And you're
yeah.
exactly right. That's where it came
And
from.
where you just said, and then I just fill it in, you just kind of skip over that. And everybody else is going, how do I do that? You know, because you guys, can do that. You have that ability already to do the fill in. So you play guitar too, I heard. Do you also play drums and bass or?
Oh no, my brother does. I right now I'm not playing any music, any instruments. I've fallen in love with Logic, and
Okay.
I've wasting hundreds and of thousands of dollars on these samples.
Uh
And so now I can play cello and flute and all these things I never thought I'd be able to play.
huh. Yeah.
And so I'm having a brilliant time with that. Um yeah, but yeah,
Those are
just
fun.
those
Yeah.
are
So
great.
music is maybe, an outlet for you, because your job's probably pretty demanding, and music provides just that, like that, just kind of a soothing thing. You get away and play and enjoy yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like the most pure art form, because it's like music is like the human will, right? It's like
Yeah.
isomorphic to, your emotional
Yeah.
system over time. And it is an escape, but it's also something that I gave up after my band died, and I didn't play anything for a few years.
Now hold on.
And
When did this band start? When were you playing in the band? How old were you and how long did it go?
that was 2013 to 2016, so
Okay.
3 years. And
Okay.
then our drummer died,
Oh.
and
Oh.
it was sad.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. And our guitarist flew away, and then I was just like, you know what? I've been at the pinnacle, performing live and doing
Yeah.
all that stuff. I was like, I'm done. What am I going to do next? And you just have to rememorize all these other songs. I mean, it was exhausting. And so now I want to get into composition, but I don't really have too many teachers for that. So I'm trying to teach
Okay.
myself. But that was only for 3 years, and it's a great high to be performing. I love that.
Did you sing during the performances? Were you a singer?
Yeah, singing vocals and keys, which
Okay.
it's hard
Have you
to
ever done
remember all
any
the lyrics.
solo stuff? You just you and the keys and singing. Have you ever done that?
No, no, I haven't. But I mean, this J.R. Richards, he split from Dishwalla, and that's what he does now. But I think I really like, slowing down the pieces and sort of reinventing them, and uh really, I don't know, reharmonizing, transforming them, and giving them new life. So I
Yeah.
might get into, I mean, I could see myself doing an album at some point. I would love to.
Sure. So have you
I
written
have
some stuff? Have you written?
only covers. I haven't written anything, um
Yeah.
just
Cool.
classical stuff. So for now, but I don't know. Do you give lessons in creative composition?
I was just
Or
gonna say, I have to tell you this when because I've never worked on the business side of my website. I've always just put up content. And I finally, in 17 years, I've got a business coach now, and he goes, "How have you been this successful and you've never done any advertising, never done anything?" I was like, "I don't know," but he's kind of helping me do this. He says, "You got to get testimonials. You got to get to know your customers." And I thought, "Oh no, this is going to be hard. This is going to be time consuming." But Michael, I have had a blast. Every day, I can't wait to talk to another one of you guys. You're so interesting and so intelligent, so awesome. You're the seventh one, and 6 out of 7 now are people who gig and play in bands. And I had no idea that you guys were already, musicians. I thought you were all beginners, but you play already and you sing and you go around, and I'm just amazed. And I wanted to ask, why is that? Because I've in 17 years, because I've been doing this since 2007. Why and are all of these the members I'm contacting here are doing the testimonials? You guys are gigging musicians. What it is about my lessons that attracts musicians who already can play, want to play at a high level, and play for other people?
That's a great question. Um,
I'm just
it's
wondering.
a
I want
great
to know.
question. It's a it's a great question. So I think, yeah, even the best giggers, right? They don't have your perfect pitch. They don't have the ability to just hear any piece of music that they love and immediately play it, right? And there's no app for that yet. There's really you, and it's not just the notes, it's how you present it and how you go through it, and your the way that you teach the song, right? Nobody else had the foresight to write the notes, in the locations, in the relative
Yeah,
positions, and to have repeating patterns, and to really to compress the music into a visual, into 2 or 3 screenshots that then
yeah,
that's all you need to play the whole thing. And good luck even if you're a super talented gigger, you're not going to be able to figure out Ben Folds, song. You're going to have to take a long time to
yeah,
invest into learning to going through the sheet music. And that's
yeah,
that's crazy. Um, well, it's not crazy, but I mean, you can do it so much faster, and then you can zoom through the video and get it very fast, right? So it's a accelerative learning tool
yeah.
for people who love music.
So I've noticed that, well, from the very beginning, I've always wanted myself, if I'm going to listen to something and play it, I want to play the way the album sounds. I don't want to dumb it down. I don't want to put
Mhm.
melody in the right hand. I want to play what Elton John's playing. I want to play what Ben Folds is playing. I don't want to play some, dinky thing that someone's come up with so they can sell sheet music. I want to play the real thing. So from the very beginning, I've always done that. So have you noticed that I really try to get exactly what I'm not perfect, but I try to get as close as I can to exactly what the album is. And if it's got other instruments in there and it's got a piano in there, sometimes I'll take from the guitar part or something else so that it sounds on a solo piano like the album version sounds. Do you notice that? Do you care about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. No, I completely do. The mannerisms, the phrasing, the little stylistic tricks and sort of the character of each performer's style. You can capture that and you sort of give the right hints and complete the gaps right in the sequence in the formula to really make it a whole. So I can get the vibe of an Elton John, sort of the rhythmic pattern of the Elton John thing. He has like, maybe like 10 signature ones, and you've covered all of those, and it's just something that you won't get explained to you if you're reading the sheet music or if you're working with anyone else who is
Right.
doing it as recorded, or doesn't really have the intuition behind how the artists play it in
Yes.
real life and
I
where
love
they.
that. I mean, you can learn what Elton's doing in a particular thing, but I like to show people how he's thinking because he's not reading music. He's not recalling what he did. What he's in the moment, and I want to teach you guys how to be in the moment yourselves and do what he's doing the way he's doing it. So it's really exciting to hear these things from you. I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to make you sick, but I I feel like everybody's given certain talents. I mean, you've been given great intelligence in your programming and stuff. You guys are on another level. I mean, it's way up here. I can't even, I've met a few programmers and I can tell right away you're one of those guys. But and you're always artistic too. But I will, when I transcribe, I won't even be at the piano sometimes. I'll just sit down, with my tablet and I'm just listening. So from even a little kid, when anything I hear, I know what the notes are. Automatically, they just pop in my head.
Yeah.
And I don't have to figure them out. I don't have to go to the piano. I don't have to go, let me try this. It automatically comes. So I'm able to sit there and just, go with it and write it all out. And that's part of the reason I'm able to do what I do is that gift. Now, I didn't do anything to get that. I was just born with that. God just gave me that. And I'm grateful for it. It's also a curse because if something's out of tune, I can't listen to it. I can't hit the transpose button on my piano and play. Like if I want to go down and play in a different key and people hit transpose, I can't do it because I can't play notes that aren't the real sounding notes. It'll drive me, I can't do it. If somebody gives me a hard request and it's slightly out of tune, I can't do it because I can't use my gift to listen. It sounds like, garbage in my head when I'm trying to listen to it. There's always music going in my head, from even when I'm dreaming, when I'm sleeping, when I wake up, there's always, my kids will tell you, I'm always humming. There's always, stuff going on. But
Mhm.
there is, already, Evan, I'm having so much fun, Michael. It's already the time slipping away. But that one gift is for this. And so I'm excited to get kind of validation on this, that you guys appreciate all that, the accuracy that I try to give you, because that's what this gifts allows me to do. I'm not the greatest performer. I'm not the greatest teacher. I'm not the greatest whatever, but I'm able to give you guys, an arrangement that is pretty close to the album version. If I didn't have this gift, I wouldn't be able to do that. And yeah,
No,
I went,
it's an insane talent, and I knew that you had that just before, because you're right. Nobody else could have been able to transcribe all those perfectly with with the intuition behind it, and sort of be the Sherpa through all the different music that you'd want to play that's on YouTube,
yeah.
that's on Spotify. Without that talent, I don't think you're right.
Yeah.
It would be
It's
long.
exciting. I wish you guys could know what it was like, because it's not something where I just go, oh, I'll have this thing nobody else can do. I wish you could experience it, because when I hear a chord, I don't hear a chord. I hear a feeling. I hear a personality. And I know
Mhm.
it has to do with the pitches, but that's not what is going on in my head. Or I got to say my emotions, because I always feel it on an emotional level. So if I hear that chord has a particular, feeling that no other chord does. And you could play the same chord in another key, it'd have the same function, but it has a totally different personality to me. And I wish, others could experience that. It's so neat to have that, to feel an emotion with every chord. But anyway,
Well,
I like to
figure out
let
how
you
to
guys, I like to let you guys in on what's going on in my head sometimes.
thank you. Thank you. No, it's fascinating. Yeah, I can't imagine. It'd be so cool.
So we're running short here, but I would, before we move on to the questions here, you mentioned I feel like you would love to write a song. You would love to open that part of your music up and write a song and play. I would love to help you on that. No charge, and I'm just saying this because I want to do it. There's no business angle or nothing. I just think it
Oh,
would be cool
wow.
to help you. And I'm getting used to Zoom here, so it seems like if you put a camera on your piano, I could help you get through that and help you start writing a song. Because I've actually done some of that, done some songwriting workshops. You're
Nice.
probably right there. You just need a couple of doors open, and you could just start writing music and singing and playing. So if you ever want to do that, just let me know. No, again, no charge. We just do it for fun.
Well, I'll definitely pick up on that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And yeah, is there any questions you have for me before we get to this last section?
Yeah. What's your favorite song?
Oh gosh, I can't.
You can't pick one. Who's
I,
your no, same question that you asked me. When you were growing up, what was your favorite album?
okay, so my favorite artist
Yeah.
is Billy Joel. Because
Oh,
I love how he becomes these other genres. He becomes another person in each song. It isn't like it's he becomes something. He's 50s, he's New York State of Mind, he's this kind of way. He's Anthony Song, he's another. So I love becoming those characters, and I can kind of emulate his voice pretty good. So he's fun for me. And I get the best reaction at crowds when I sing like he does, because he does Broadway. She's got a way about her. So I can do that kind of, Broadway sound he does. And so I'm not as good as him, but he's the most fun. So I guess he's my favorite. If I had to choose one song, it would be Piano Man, because that's the first one that I ever heard that he did. And I was
really?
hooked. Yeah.
Oh, well,
So,
that's
Elton
beautiful.
John's also great. But Billy Joel's my ultimate. If I got to meet one person, it would be him. And he's so real. I mean,
Have you seen him live?
I did get to see him one time live, and he's
Yeah.
such a fan of music, and he's not cocky, and he's not afraid to sing and just kind of bang around on the piano and let you know what he's thinking and how he wrote a song and how this song influenced him. A lot of artists are concerned about their image and being their own thing, but he'll freely tell you, oh, this I got this from this, I got this from this, and I just love the guy. I'd love to meet him one day, but he's my favorite.
Holy cow. Well,
Yeah.
if he's ever playing in Boston, I'll get us backstage passes or something.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Well, I was close to you there. And hey, if you're ever near Waco, if you have anybody in your life that wants to come visit Magnolia, because Waco's that tourist town now somehow,
Yeah.
look me up. We'll jam. I got a studio right here with a bunch of instruments, some drums. We'll just play. But seriously, look me up. I'm gonna send you an email. I'll give you my phone number. If you ever want to
Cool.
text or call me, we can play.